FUNCLE's Customs, where I find all kinds of cars in different places. I usually fix them and flip them, but sometimes I keep them. This is My Garage Revivals. It was finally time for me to take the cab of our truck in for its respray, as well as pick up our ramp bed, which has been freshly painted. Hello everybody and welcome back to My Garage Revivals. Right, so Friday morning, very nice and early. There's really a lot of things we can get up to today. But first of all, I just wanted to show you guys that we have got our ramp back from the paint shop and it is looking much better now. So it was quite a bit rusty and they did actually go through everything and everything is pretty much sorted now. So this thing is as good as new. So yes, our cab has been sent in for paint. So that is pretty much what they are busy with today. So we might actually get it back over the weekend sometime. But today I would like to try and get this engine, the diesel engine, rebuilt for this thing. Which we do have all of the parts on the table over there. So yeah, that is part of the work for today. I also did go ahead and order the lifted springs for the front. Because the truck was sitting a little bit weird without the lifted front suspension. So that has been changed out. And you'll also notice that I have painted the wheels. So that was pretty much just me with a rattle can of paint. So yeah, I actually sprayed all of them. So yeah, slowly but surely this thing is coming together. So we just pretty much need the engine to go in. Then our cab can be mounted back on this thing. And then yeah, that is pretty much going to be good to go. So yeah, first up for today, we are going to start working on the Mustang again. So we've got quite a lot of work to do to this thing still. And I have done a tiny bit of work off camera. So I've pretty much mounted the dashboard and the pedals and the handbrake lever and the steering column and all that stuff. So that is pretty much put back in. And also the engine is back in place. So yes, we have got pretty much a lot of body works to do still on this thing. So that is what we are going to get into with this thing. So without any further time wasting, we are going to start cutting the rear quarter panels off of this thing. And I want to see if we can start pretty much welding in the new parts we're going to be installing on this thing. And just to see if it's going to come together. So yes, this is pretty much the last bit of work we need to do to the body for this thing. And then pretty much put it back together. We did get a roll cage as well from Eric. He did send this over. So yeah, that is pretty much the only thing that we did receive between yesterday and the day before. So yes, we've also got a set of wheels, but I think these was already present in the previous video. I just didn't pay attention to those. But yes, we've got pretty much everything sorted out now. There was a little small window missing on one of the doors. We also got that. So yeah, that is pretty much sorted out now. So I think we can continue by just cutting everything off and just getting this thing taken apart now, because I would really like to see this thing done, or at least in sort of, you know, the shape of what a car would resemble by the end of this episode. So yes, that is my goal for today with this. So yeah, that is pretty much one more quarter panel we need to cut off over here. So I think this is the last panel. Oh, that's quite strange, but yes, we've got it. So this panel can also come off. Alright, so we're just gonna throw it on the pile over there, and then I think last but not least we just need to get that rear panel cut off over here, and then we can get our floors taken off. I think this rear part actually bolts on, but I'll just be sure to check on that. Alright, now it looks like we've got some welds over there. Alright, so let's just put this down over here. There we go. We've got a bunch of scrap parts on a pile there already. So it was quite a bit of a chore cleaning up the shop after the last episode. But yes, at least now it's pretty much ready for the next day. Alright, so I'm not too sure if he wants to keep the tow hitch, but I'm not going to dispose of these panels before I have pretty much seen what we still need from those parts. Yeah, I think the easiest thing to start with would be to just cut the floors out, and I also need to get the frame rails out. So that means we're going to have to mount some front wheels, and then we can lift up the rear, get the rear axle dropped out, and then, yeah, pretty much take it from there. So I'm going to grab a wheel from the pile over here. We're going to get those installed, because we need to get the rear axle taken out, obviously. So let's get these wheels back in place for now. Right, so there we go. We've got our front wheels mounted. So now I think we can lower this thing down at the front and see if we can lift up the rear end, because we need to get rid of those frame rails under there. So I'm not entirely sure what that entails, but I think it'll just be better to have a jack stand under this thing, or a floor jack for that matter. So I don't know if it's going to really reach, but we are just going to put it under there for like a safety measure, I think. So there we go. We've got this one lowered down. So let's move it over this side. I don't think it's going to really reach, but we don't need it to. We just need it to be there when this thing decides to come down. Right, so I want to check if we can pretty much get this floor removed first of all. At least the trunk floor at the back, and then we'll work our way forward. Alright, so there's that. So we've got a good fuel tank on this, which we'll have to probably take off and install on the new trunk floor. So that's something we can do, and I believe also this middle panel should come off if we can get it cut off over here. Alright, let's just see if that is going to pretty much allow it to come off. I don't think so. We might have to cut some more welds over here somewhere. Let me just investigate this quickly. We've got pretty much these two small welds here. I think that could be the ones holding that in. Let's come and check this side as well. Alright, so that is probably also mounted to something else. I'm not sure. As I said previously, I'm not really clued up with these cars. I haven't done a lot of work to these. But yes, there's always something to learn. So I think let's start by ripping the rear axle out. Maybe that is going to be the thing that's holding everything into place. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretty much unbolt the axle from the leaf spring. Just see if we can get that out as well. Alright, so that's our bolts under there. We've got these four on this side, and I think then the brake lines are the only thing holding this thing in, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously the shocks also, so those can come loose like that, and there goes our rear axle. Alright, perfect. Let's just set this out of the way for now. Alright, we are going to have to replace that rear axle by the looks of it. Alright, and just as I thought, we've got pretty much, yeah, this whole rear section we need to cut off. I think even if we cut the frame rails off, that should pretty much come off. So let's just see. We've got a middle frame brace over here, I believe. Alright, so let's cut this part off, and then that should hopefully let everything come off. There we go. So there we go. We've got a new one of these, and we've got two new frame rails, which we need to replace with new parts. I'm just walking into the table here. Alright, and let's put this one on this side as well for now. We'll get the new ones installed, because we need to get these leaf springs fitted to those. As for this floor pan over here, I don't really know what's holding this thing in anymore. Doesn't look like there's anything specifically holding it in. So I think if that's something that's going to be a bit of a pain to get out, I'm not going to bother with it. I'm just going to leave it in, because I don't think there's a lot of damage to it. Yeah, let's just check it with the hammer and see. Because obviously this part doesn't want to come off. Let's just bang it a little bit straight. Alright, I think that should do. Alright, so if that part is going to be a bit of a mission to replace, I think we're just going to skip it and not replace it at this point. So yeah, but I'm quite confident that it is straight, and then yeah, we'll just pretty much start putting the new parts on now. So we've got our trunk floor. And we do have this panel, which is the middle floor. Now, I've got no idea what is keeping this thing in still. Let's just come over here and see one more time. Maybe there's something else we need to unbolt. I don't think it's the drive shaft keeping it in. I doubt that. It could also not be the exhaust system. Yeah, I'm a little bit at a loss over on this one at the moment. Maybe the brake lines. Let's maybe undo the main brake line and just see what is cooking with that. All right, no, I'm pretty confident that thing is not going to come out. All right, let's try this then. I'm actually a little bit determined to get this thing removed. All right, I'm basically at this point where I'm going to try and give up on this because, yeah, there's absolutely no more cutting or anything involved whatsoever with regards to this middle floor. So I'm just going to leave it be. It's gonna have to just do, because I did bang it with the hammer, so it is nice and straight. So I don't think there's going to be any problems with that. So yeah, I think I'm just going to pretty much leave it in the car and we'll start putting new parts on, because, you know, guys, time is money. So let's grab our frame rails. We're going to start with these. We're going to install the new ones. And then obviously get everything put back together. And then we can start hopefully getting something that's going to look like a car again. Alright, so I even started cutting off other welds over here just to see if that was maybe the thing that was holding everything together. But yeah, I didn't have any luck with this. So let's just get all of these welds welded up again. Right, and then let's just continue with our other frame rails, or the other frame rail rather, over here. Let's grab this one. Alright, so there we go. We've got the other frame rail in place. Now we're going to come over this side and just be sure to weld it into place over there. Alright, superb. Now we can get our new trunk floor, which is this. Alright, so there we go. We've got our trunk floor in place, and let's get that welded up. Alright, I believe that should be everything. Alright, perfect. So now I think what we can do is pretty much start with our quarter panels over here. We've got two brand new ones. So this one is for the right hand side. So we'll see if this is going to go on. Just like that. Not a problem at all. Alright, we'll bring our welding machine over to this side for now. Let's just get into position for this. Right, so we'll weld it over here. And we'll get those two welded on as well. Alright, I think that is it for this side. So let's go around and grab the other one. Alright, so there it is. Got that one in place. And once again, we're going to weld it. Just like that. Alright, so perfect. Now, I must be sure to mount this new frame brace underneath here as well for our shock absorbers. So that goes over there. Let's get our welding machine quickly and weld that back into place. Alright, that looks like it's good. Alright, so next up we are going to do our small panel, or the middle lip panel as they call it, which pretty much goes in between the two quarter panels like this. And we'll weld it into place there and over there. Alright, so that is looking very good. Alright, so now looking at the rest of these parts, we don't have an awful lot left. We've got our rocker panels. So let's go and get these rocker panels installed. So this is the left one, like that. Let's get our welder over there. Okay, let's weld it up. great. Let's go get the other one. Alright, this is the right hand side. And there we go, that is in place. Alright, so I really wish this welder had a longer wire on it, so that we don't have to carry the damn thing around up and down the whole time. Alright, so there we go, we've got our rocker panels on. And next up, we'll get our rear valance. I believe that's what they call this. This welded into place. Alright, so there we go. Let's grab our welding machine again. And weld that. And we'll weld that. And I think now it's pretty much our taillight panel. Which is over here. Alright, let's get this thing into place. Alright, just like that. Let's get our welding machine again. Weld that up. Alright, that is looking fairly good. Alright, so now, if I'm not mistaken, the front clip actually, that is a bolt-on. So I'm just looking at all the parts we have here. We've got a bunch of just bolt-on parts now by the looks of it. The last thing I probably need to weld will be this. But this can only go on when the roof is on. Probably. So I think the next part is pretty much this roll cage. Yeah, I think let's get the roll cage mounted. I mean, we can always take it out if it's a bit of a problem getting into the car with this installed. Right, so there we go. That is pretty much the roll cage in place. And yeah, we're going to have to put the roof on now. Right, so let's get our roof mounted. Alright, so there we go. The roof is in place. Now let's just weld it. Alright, let's see if this is going to reach. Alright, I've got no idea where this weld is over here. There should actually be one there, but yeah, I don't see anything. Right, that is interesting. That's probably where our middle panel comes in, or the cowl panel, which is over here now. There we go. That is going to complete that part of it. Alright, and where does this weld in place? Oh, over here. Alright, so now we can weld over there. And our wire is too short on the welder. Let's go and bring it over that side. Alright, and there we go. I think that is pretty much all the welds for now. Not sure, we'll see if there's anything else as we progress. But I think now it's just a bunch of parts we need to bolt onto this thing. So now we are still waiting for the interior for this vehicle, because Eric said he's got an order that he has placed with a guy that's still looking for the parts. So once that is ready, he'll get it delivered to us, and then we can pretty much get that sorted out as well for him. Alright, and let's get this door fitted as well. Here we go. Perfect. Alright, so now, yeah, I think let's get our trunk lid mounted, because I really want to see what this is going to look like. This is quite a nifty spoiler at the back over here. Alright, yes, that is looking fairly decent. Alright, so we've got this panel which we cannot replace at this point. Alright, so let's grab this fender. There we go, that is decent. Only one bolt on the fender. Alright, let's grab the other one over here. Alright, and let's bolt it down. Alright, let's go and grab our front end over here, the front valance. Alright, and let's get that into place. And I think this is just two bolts on the inside. We'll probably see it better from over here. Over there's one, and then we've got another one on this side. Just like that. Alright, so that is our front valance installed. We're also missing some headlights. Alright, that is interesting. Didn't send the headlights over yet, but yeah, they'll probably come with the rest of the parts. Alright, let's get this bolted down. And on this side. And there we go. That is pretty much everything that we can do to this car for now. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe just get some of these parts installed back. How's the shock absorber? It's still fine, so we can reuse that. Alright, come on. It's just hard to get to these bolts. There we go. At the back. And then let's get this one mounted as well. There we go. Perfect. And I actually removed the drive shaft as well. I thought that was part of the problem we were having over here. So we can get that reinstalled. Alright, just trying to get to this last bolt on the drive shaft. It's a little bit tricky. There we go, we've got it. Alright, so now... Alright, so this is an old part. We can pretty much chuck it. Alright, let's, while we've got our wrench over here, let's take this fuel tank off. Alright, let's get this fitted to our new trunk floor over here. Alright, and bolt it down. Alright, let's be sure to get all of these bolts. There we go. Right, so now let's get these leaf springs off of this frame rail over here. Alright, so that should come off. There we go. And what's the condition of these? Yeah, they don't look too bad. Alright, so I don't think I'm going to bother installing the rear suspension back on this thing, or the rear axle rather, because we are going to be replacing the whole axle. So yes, that is some parts that we need to order. Eric isn't going to be supplying those. Alright, so let's get this one in place. And bolt that down. And over there, that is pretty decent. Alright, so I think that is pretty much it for this car, for this episode. I mean, we did a lot of it pretty much just by bolting parts on. So we've got a lot of parts that we need to get rid of over here, but these are probably going to be scrapped. Alright, although there are some good parts, we can actually just mount these exhausts as well, because I took these off as well, because I thought that was going to be a problem. Alright, so let's see. Alright, and we've got our wrench over here on the table. Alright, let's grab this one. Alright, so there we go. We've got pretty much everything put back into place on this car. And yeah, that's pretty much as far as we can get without all the parts we need for this. Because obviously we need to do the whole rear suspension and front suspension, repair all the broken parts on it. And we'll also get the other two wheels mounted to it once it's all sorted out. So yeah, I think what I can do is just pretty much carry these into there as well. Alright, so that's a part we need to install. And this one, we will keep it around. I will check with Eric, maybe he knows how to replace it. And then we can pretty much just get that sorted out, maybe off camera at some point for him. Alright, let's grab this wheel as well. Alright, and just put it on a pile over there. Alright, so there she is. We've got pretty much a lot of work done to this thing. So I think, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do over the weekend. I'm going to check the suspension and just see more or less if I can figure out what parts I need to order. And hopefully we'll have all of that ready on Monday. So yeah, that car is definitely getting there. As for the paint on that vehicle, I did discover a color that I'm going to paint the car in. And Eric said it's going to be better for him if it was a surprise. So we're not going to be revealing the color we are painting the car just yet. Alright, let's just get our toolbox. We can probably grab our angle grinder as well now, because we are done with all the cutting and welding on this car for now. We do have, yes, we do have our wrench. Alright, so there we go. Now we can pretty much move over to our engine over here, which we will be mounting a lot of brand new parts to. So we've got pretty much all new pistons. I've got a new oil pan, a new fuel pump. So yeah, we've got a lot of new parts. I even bought some new injectors and glow plugs, which we needed. So yeah, hopefully we've got everything we need to get this thing pretty much sorted out now. So even our engine block, yeah, I did mention in the last episode that I wanted to have this thing reconditioned, but yeah, I didn't go that option. I actually went and bought a brand new engine block, but this is a little bit bigger one. This is a 3.5 liter, which is going to give us a little bit more power, especially considering we are going to be hauling cars on the back of our ramp truck, and also sometimes we might even be hauling a trailer behind it with a car loaded. So yeah, for that reason I thought, well, let's just go a little bit bigger with the engine block, get a little bit more power out of it, but at the same time we don't want to go crazy here, because yeah, fuel economy is also something I need to consider. Alright, so yes, we are pretty much just mounting our pistons. So we do have got all the pistons brand new in this engine, so that way we know that our internals is pretty much sorted, and we'll not really have a problem with this thing anytime soon again. Alright, so there's the last piston mounted. Alright, so let's get our oil pan mounted. Let's get all the bolts. There we go. Alright, so there's our oil pan. Perfect. And let's just get these bolts down as well. Alright, that is very good. Alright, so what's next? Our camshaft goes in the cylinder head, so that's not going to go in just yet. We've got our head gasket. Alright, so we'll get that fitted, and then let's grab our new cylinder head. I think, no, wait a minute, this is, yeah, this is the old one, so I didn't buy a new one of these. So this one is still in fairly good condition, so that can pretty much stay. Right, then I think we should probably sort out our crankshaft sprocket over here. Let's get that mounted. Alright, perfect. And if I'm not mistaken, this should be able to go on now. There we go. That is looking pretty good. Alright, and then this can go on. Alright, so there we go. That is pretty much sorted. Alright, so there's our crankshaft pulley. Let's just grab it, put that on. There we go, bolt it down. Alright, let's get our camshaft fitted. Alright, there we go, camshaft is sorted. Now we should be able to get our camshaft sprocket on. Like that, there we go. Alright, I'm just trying to see what else we need to do and in what order we need to do this, because it's not every day you work on a diesel engine like this. Alright, so there's... Come on, where's the other bolt? Here we go, there's another one. No, I think that's all of them. Let's just double check on that. Fairly good, fairly good. Alright, let's get our oil filter housing, which goes over here. Alright, let's get that sorted out completely. And we've got a new oil filter lid for this. So definitely no more leaks from there. Alright, so belt tensioner, not just yet. Yeah, we're gonna need to install this now. Alright, so we've got a bolt over there, and there's one more on this side. There we go. Alright, so this needs to go on. Our alternator bracket. Perfect. Let's get the alternator on. Alright, and then let me just see what else we've got. We've got our fuel filter, which actually goes over here, bolted down. Alright, so over to this. Let's get this mounted as well onto our fuel pump. But this time what I want to do is make sure that I actually get the glow plugs and everything installed and pretty much bolted down before we put that on. Because it was a little bit of a chore getting those things sorted out the last time on the diesel engine we were working on the Mercedes wagon. Alright, so let's get these installed. These are the injectors. Alright. Alright, let's zip these down. Alright, I think that is good. Alright, so now let's do these glow plugs. They go in there. Alright, and we are just going to bolt these glow plugs down as well. Just like that. Right, let's just set that on the table for now. Alright, let's get our relay over here. Where does this go again? I think it must be here somewhere. There we go. There's a spot over here. Alright, bolted down. Right, so what else we've got? We've got intakes to do. We've got our clutch and flywheel to do still. So let's maybe get our flywheel back on the thing. Come on, there we go. Alright, and let's bolt these bolts down. Alright, that is sorted. So our flywheel is in place. Let's get our clutch plate on. Alright, and pressure plate. Alright, did we get all of those? I think so. And so there's 2, 2, 2, and 2. Alright, so that is perfect. Alright, so now we've got pretty much, just the last couple of things over here. Let's just wait with that. Let's get our belt installed. And then we'll grab our tensioner. And just like that, we've got our belt tensioner on. Now we can get our cooling fan back on. Alright, I think it's time for this. This is our fuel pump. Alright, that looks like everything. Alright, so now we can do our intake, which is probably this side. Alright, let's just go down a bit with it. Alright, let's do all the lower ones first, and then we'll come here for the upper ones. Alright, yeah, we've got them all. Okay, perfect. Let's just get this installed as well before we forget about it. Not that you would forget about it, but yes, it's just better to get it on now while we are at it. Alright, and now that's the last one for there. Alright, so now let's get this installed. This is our exhaust manifold. Alright, let's just do it like this. A little bit better to see the bolts. Alright, and I think now it's our turbocharger. Right, 2 bolts over there. And then we'll get this installed as well. Oh, wait a second. Let's just get our air filter installed. There we go. Alright, and just like that, air filter is done. Alright, now I think this should actually go on. Just like that. Perfect. Alright, and then last but not least, our starter, which goes over here on this side. Just like that. Alright, so there we go. We've got a freshly rebuilt diesel engine. We've got a new fuel line here as well. Alright, so we also need to mount our wiper motor, and yeah, we've got our, oh, that's our rear view mirror from the Neva that we took off, I think. Alright, so I think the last thing to do is pretty much get this engine installed into the truck and see if we can get all the bolts tightened down for this. We also have got a exhaust for this, which we can install. So yeah, that is something we can do. Alright, let's get all of these bolted down, and hopefully when we try and fire this thing up, everything's going to be fine. Alright, it's so easy to work on this thing with the CAD removed. Just like that. Alright, and right, so we've got that one tightened down. Did I tighten down the one on the alternator? Just see, that's down here. Yeah, we've got it. Alright, and I think I've got all the bolts on the transmission as well. Yeah, that looks pretty decent. Alright, so let's grab this exhaust. Alright, it's almost easier from the top. And there we go. That is pretty much everything sorted out. Not looking too bad. Right, so last but not least, let's come and grab our fuel line over here. Alright, so there's our fuel line, and let's just get to this bolt over there. Alright, perfect. Oh, that is definitely a very nice engine for this truck, and it looks, yeah, looks like it's definitely gonna do the job for us. I mean, there's a little bit more power in this engine than in a normal stock inline 6 diesel without a turbo. So this has got a turbo on, and we've got a little bit of a bigger block on it. So yeah, I'm hoping that's going to be sufficient power for us to pretty much haul anything we put on the back of this thing. Alright, so now that we've got our ramp truck pretty much sorted out as far as we can go with it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretty much, yeah, get the trailer pulled out of here somehow, get the truck also pulled out so that we can connect the trailer, because we're going to go and pick up our new project vehicle now. Alright, so that took a little bit of shunting. So yes, we've got pretty much our trailer hooked up to our truck now, and I've loaded all of these beat up parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and drop it off at Steve's, but I think he is closed already. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it outside. So we've got an arrangement that he actually sends me the money the next day when he gets back at his pawn shop. So yeah, let's fire this thing up, and then we are going to make our way over to pick up our new project vehicle as well. Alright, so we'll just park here for a second, and then yeah, let's close up our shop, and then we are ready to hit the road. Alright, so there we go. We've got all of our parts dropped off here in this little spot where Steve said I can leave the parts. So he's gonna pretty much come and check it out, and yeah, just send me the money over when he's back at the shop. So yeah, let's just continue our journey to go and pick up our project car. Alright, so here we are. That is our brand new project vehicle. So this is a 1968 Dodge Charger. And yes, it has definitely seen better days by the looks of it. So yeah, this car is actually very cheap. The guy's only asking $8,000 for this car in its current condition, which I think is worth it because under the hood we've got a very good running engine. But as you can tell, we've got not really anything else that is very good on this thing. So yes, we are pretty much just going to take this back to our shop and see if we can get this thing sorted out a bit and maybe get some rust repair done to this, sort out the bodywork, sort out the suspension like we always do, and then we'll probably sell this one on as well. But yes, I first need to finalize the deal with this guy and just give him the cash for it. So yeah, let me go and have a chat with him and then we'll get this thing loaded up onto our trailer. Alright, so that was handled very quickly, and yes, we are now the proud owners of this 1968 Dodge Charger, which, yeah, we're going to try and get it loaded up onto our trailer. It's going to be hard to see through this broken windscreen, but we are going to try our best. So let's see if we can get this thing fired up, and I'm going to try and drive it up the trailer. And this has got an automatic gearbox. Alright, so I'm thinking probably gonna need a little bit of momentum to get this thing off. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so I'm thinking we're gonna be able to pull it up on the trailer nose first, hopefully. So let's see how this goes. Alright, so there we go. She is finally on the trailer. Took me a little bit of pushing and pulling here and there, but I think this is going to be hopefully alright for us to travel all the way back to our shop. So yeah, once again, let's jump in and see if we can get this thing back to our shop. Alright, and there we go. We made it safely back to our shop with our brand new purchase. This is a big project by the looks of it. This side of the car looks fairly straight, but yeah, we've got quite a bit of damage on this side, on the driver's side. So this is going to be, yeah, quite a bit of work, but I'm quite confident that we'll be able to sort this out. So there are a ton of parts available for these cars, luckily. But yes, I think that is pretty much the end of this episode, but I do want to just mention that our little Niva did sell at auction, and we got quite a lot of money from that. It was 57,000 after the auction have taken their share of 10%. So that is pretty much where we got our little bit of money that we had to purchase this vehicle with. And yes, our Chevy Chevelle is also still on auction as we speak, so I'm still waiting to hear back from the guys about that. But yes, that is going to be a wrap for this episode, so thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate every view, every like. And also, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. I will appreciate it very much. But yes, until the next time, cheerio!